If you run a brand that's generating over $5 million a year in revenue, these are 13 flow optimization ideas that your competition might be missing out on. If we haven't met yet, my name is Josh. I'm the co-founder and CEO at Chronos. And my goal with these videos is to help you grow your e-commerce business profitably through our insights and ideas. And we've generated these insights through helping over 500 brands from different industries and verticals like The Udi, Truly Beauty, Cure Skincare, and many more. And we've generated multiple 9 figures in profitable tracked revenue with retention marketing for these businesses. With that out of the way, let's get started. Here are 13 advanced e-commerce retention flow optimization frameworks that will set you apart from your competition, allowing you to generate a higher conversion rate and higher retention rate than most of your competition can achieve. You might be thinking, all right, that's cool. These are cool brands, but it doesn't apply to my industry or my customer profile or segment or any of that. Now, I'm here to tell you that that is not true. We have worked with over 500 brands, generated tons of revenue for all kinds of clients. These frameworks have consistently proven to be successful regardless of who you're selling to, as long as they're consumers in our modern age. So with that in mind, let's dive in. On the pre-purchase level, we'll start with some of the core essential flows to begin with, starting with the welcome flow with your pop-up offer. Now, you'd be surprised at how many brands really miss out on this by not having a compelling offer on their pop-up to leave for customers and prospects to leave their emails. Now, at this stage, you want to be aiming for at least a 4% conversion rate, if not a 9 to 10% conversion rate. Internally, our benchmarks are slightly above that. We want to be growing our lists at a much higher pace than our competition's growing their list, because every ounce of traffic that we're generating through paid media and other channels is incredibly valuable because it's expensive, right? And media is only going to be as cheap as it's ever going to get today. It's only going to get more and more expensive, right? I phrase that not in the best way, but you get what I mean. Email number 1 should have the following elements. It should have a compelling CTA, which means that your conversion rate on email number 1 should be at least 15%, if not more. A discount offer and validity of that discount offer if discounting is a part of your opening strategy. 3 to 4 best-selling products make it super easy and simple for customers and prospects to make a decision. Don't make them think. Here are bestsellers. Go buy them. Your brand name, what you sell, and the hero image, which is the image that you see above the fold up top before the email has to be scrolled down. Once you have that, the second flow that you want to be diving into here is the abandoned checkout flow. This is critical. This is one of the highest revenue generating, new customer converting flows in existence. And the fact is, most brands are not doing this right. You should be seeing at least, at the very bare minimum, 10% in conversion rates, meaning for every 100 email subscribers that go through the abandoned checkout flow, you want to see at least 10 conversions coming out of the other end of that flow or sequence. If you're not seeing that, there is room for optimization and room to grow. And the more efficient and effective this flow is built, the more efficient and effective your overall acquisition engine will be, because this drives a much higher conversion rate through the front end of your acquisition system. Remember that this is predominantly targeting new prospects, people who have not yet become customers. These are first-time purchasers, which means that the more efficient this is, the more efficient your acquisition funnel is going to be. Okay, great. So now that we have that out of the way, what do we do? All of the emails in this flow should have a couple of things. The item that was abandoned in their cart, a CTA that leads them directly back to the checkout page or cart page, a clear headline in the email that it's about the item that's left in their cart. And if you're using SMS as a part of your strategy, which I highly recommend, use a maximum of 1 SMS. And I know that this is going to cause some contention. Maximum of 1 SMS at this stage to your advantage by sending it first before the emails go out, or as a last resort towards the end of your flow. You may want to experiment a little bit with how you structure your flow, but this is how we think about it. And the reason why we're only using 1 SMS at this stage is for a couple of reasons. As you can imagine, customers at this stage are fairly cold These are fresh prospects. They don't really know who you are. So you don't want to, first of all, be over bombarding them with messages that they are not expecting to be receiving. And secondly, there are other flows in our system, including the browse abandonment, site abandonment, prospect flow, and a bunch of others that would also incorporate SMS as a part of their strategies. So we never want to be overwhelming our customers and prospects with too many SMSs, especially since SMS is such a private and intimate channel. Now, moving on, browse abandonment. Okay, this sits at a couple stages before abandoned checkout, which is just as powerful because the psychology and thought processes behind browse abandonment is very different from a customer or prospect that goes through an abandoned checkout flow. At the browse abandonment stage, these are shoppers that are just considering their options. They're window shopping. They're thinking about what are the alternatives that I might have to the problem that I have, and what kind of products are there available out there in the market. Show them that the product that they're browsing from your store is the one that will solve their problems. And this comes back down to a very fundamental thing that you need to understand about your business and your customers, which is what are the jobs to be done, the desires, the fears, aspirations of your customers and your prospects that you solve with your products. If you're able to identify those key triggers and key moments, you're going to be able to craft a much stronger message and much stronger offer in your browse abandonment flow. At the very base core minimum as a checklist, you need to show them the item that they're browsing and the CTA that leads them back to the page, right? Very simple, but you realize that a lot of brands out there not doing it right. So this is something you want to pay attention to. You can take inspiration from some of the emails we've created here for Truly Beauty and Scoop as well. Now, following that, abandoned cart, very similar to abandoned checkout, but difference being at the cart stage, the commitment levels are not as high as the checkout page, right? That's checkout's the next step. So you may want to think about what are the key blockers from stopping someone from getting to that checkout stage. Is it an additional consideration stage? Are they going outside of the site for reviews and recommendations and checking in with friends? Or are they just checking what the shipping price might be, right? Or are they not sure of certain things that's going on in the process of buying your products, right? The more questions you can answer at this stage, similar to the browse abandonment stage, the more efficient and effective your conversion is going to be throughout this stage of the funnel. And likewise, as a very foundational checklist, every email at this stage should contain the items or the key item that has been added to cart, the CTA, a CTA that leads them back to the item. And a really fun, quick tip here is make sure that your CTA button stands out in contrast to the rest of your emails. If you look at the example on the left-hand side over here, this I'm a big fan of because the CTA buttons are clearly standing out. It pops right away against a more muted pink background of the email. And also a little moving graphic GIF definitely doesn't hurt. On the right-hand side, however, the CTA button's a little bit blended into the background, which I am personally not a fan of, but it works for a couple of reasons. Every part of the email above the fold is clickable, right? So even though the CTA button isn't necessarily standing out, every other part of the email stands out, right? The red against the black, the images, the product. So for those reasons, this email works just as well. All right, next, site abandonment. Site abandonment is a step even before browse abandonment, which gives you an opportunity to capture potential prospects that are just browsing around. They haven't even thought about purchasing a product, or they may not even have thought about a potential problem that they're trying to solve. And this is a great time for you to reintroduce your brand, your story, the problems you're solving, what you stand for, what makes you unique, your USP, your UVP, your unique value propositions, and remind them about your best sellers, right? At this stage, the one thing that you can do that will consistently generate results is something super simple. If you have limited time and resources for this flow, you want to be reminding your prospects about your best sellers and let your landing page or your landing pages do its work, right? Your landing page is where most of the conversation around value, around problem, solution, features, benefits can be answered. So the quicker you get your customers and your prospects onto your landing page, the more efficient it's going to be. So let your products do the talking and remind them about your best sellers. Prospect flow. Now, at the prospecting stage, the definition of a prospect flow can differ from brand to brand. I know that this is a fairly unique one where most brands and businesses may not even have thought about a prospect flow. Now, a great example of a prospect flow would be one that targets a segment of prospects who have shopped around, they've been active on site, they have clicked on at least one product or collection page. So they have viewed product or viewed a collection, and they have gone through either a browse, site, or cart or checkout abandonment flow and have yet to convert after a predefined time frame, right? Call it 7 days or whatever your typical consideration / conversion cycle time period looks like. Call it 7 days, upon which your prospect flow should trigger, which captures that long tail of customers and prospects who have gone through all that messaging and have not converted, right? So this is a catch-all flow that allows you to capture additional value from your email program. You can be a lot more aggressive at this stage, right? So as a checklist item here, be more aggressive, add a sense of urgency here compared to your welcome flow, which may be a little bit more muted, or you might be holding them back on discounts, holding back on offers, protecting your margins a little bit. You want to go all out at this stage. And the reason being, you've done all that you can, right? And they're about to churn. They're about to leave without even making a purchase. They're not going to do anything at all, right? And it's been a prolonged period of time. Even smart shoppers who are just there to wait for a discount code, opt into emails, they're not gonna wait for 7 days more often than not, right? Unless they're purchasing, say, a mattress or a higher value ticket product, in which case this strategy might change. But for the majority of brands out there, you're going to be able to capture a much higher value out of your email system by incorporating a prospect flow. All right, now moving on to post-purchase, starting with first-time purchase thank you flows, right? This can be called a new customer nurture flow or a new customer thank you flow, or just simply a thank you flow, right? Specifically for first-time purchasers, this is a critical flow for a couple of reasons. One, attention and interest are at their peak. This is the email that you're gonna see the highest open rates, the highest click rates, the highest everything, because people are interested to hear from the brand, the business that they've just bought from, right? Whether that be a order confirmation email or a shipping confirmation or just details about your order. So use this moment wisely. Treat the first email as a transactional email, meaning it is an informational one. It is about the transaction. Inform your customers that you have received their orders and are preparing to ship it soon, right? Include FAQs, shipping timelines, and other information that might be useful. And it looks something like these on the right-hand side. Now, notice that it still can be designed fairly well. It doesn't have to be purely text-based. This flow can be further separated into additional flows, like the order confirmation flow and shipping confirmation flow, based on different triggers. If you're in Shopify, that makes it really, really simple and easy. If not, you might have to build additional manual triggers through the backend of your business. Now, with that out of the way, there are a couple of additional ideas that you can incorporate into the first email of your flow that will amplify the outcomes of this automation. Number one, if you have issues with spam or deliverability or landing in the right inbox, this is a great moment to generate user intent and user engagement so that it signals to Gmail and Yahoo and all these internet service providers that you are a good sender and you're sending emails that people actually want to receive. The way you do that is by doing a couple of things. One, generate replies. Get people to reply to your emails. One of my favorite ways of doing so is, hey, this is so-and-so, founder or co-founder of this business. I'd love to hear from you. Reply to this email and let me know why you chose to buy from us today. And I will pick one lucky winner in the next 30 days or in the month of this month, or every week I will pick one lucky winner and I'll send you a $50 gift card or something along those lines, right? That generates replies, it generates engagement that is natural and genuine. It's a great signal to Gmail and Yahoo that you're sending out emails that's wanted, that's read, and that's well received. The second idea here is to get customers to whitelist your emails. Now, even if your welcome emails are landing in spam, you're gonna see a heightened open rate and click rate because people are going to go into their spam inboxes to find that confirmation email from a brand that they've just made a purchase from. For that reason, you wanna be including instructions on how you might wanna get customers to include your email in their whitelist. So that might mean adding your email to their contacts or marking your email as important, or just simply replying to the email, right? So include those instructions in your email. That's something that's critical and super helpful that we found to have worked in generating better deliverability in the long run. Number two, encourage a second purchase right away. We found that in our insights across many different brands, across many different industries, the time period upon which a second purchase occurs more frequently than not is within the first 30 days, right? This is where most second purchases happen. Beyond that, the decay and churn is drastic. So you want to generate a second purchase as quickly as possible within the first 30 days, because that eases the third and fourth purchases. It's way more likely to happen once a second purchase has occurred. Okay, so with that, you might want to offer complimentary bonuses, items, some items that don't add marginal costs to the business. For example, guides, ebooks, perhaps gift cards, or anything of that nature. And that's going to give you a stronger edge in converting second-time purchasers than your competition. So with that in mind, we'll move on to the next flow. All right, a win-back flow. This is where most brands get really excited because a win-back flow is often seen as the golden ticket to curbing churn, to reducing churn, and to increasing retention rates. However, the truth is that a win-back flow can only do so much. A win-back flow can only scrape the tip of the iceberg of your churn problems. The first thing that you need to resolve is potentially a product market fit issue or even a product quality issue. That's a pressing issue in your churn problem. A win-back flow can only capture, or rather recapture, prospects and customers who have already had the intent and need of purchasing your products, and you're just creating an opportunity, a moment for that to occur. You cannot generate demand with a win-back flow. You can only capture dormant or existing demand. Offer them a discount to come back. If discounts were not a part of your strategy, this is a great time to incorporate discounts. You want to go as heavy as you possibly can, generate the most amount of conversions, because this is do or die, right? And every conversion that occurs at the win-back stage is a new customer won, because effectively you're not repaying Facebook, Meta, Instagram, or Google for another chance at converting them on ads. Next, sunset flow. What happens if your customers are no longer interested, no longer keen on hearing from you, or it's just past their life cycle, right? For example, a great example of this could be maternity products. People only stay pregnant for 9 months at a time, right? Plus minus. Post-pregnancy, maternity wear really doesn't make a ton of sense. So unless you have ancillary products, complementary products that you can cross-sell or upsell into, a sunset flow is inevitable. You need a sunset flow to close off that relationship on a high note, a good note, and this is also a last ditch opportunity for you to generate a last ditch amount of revenue. So give your biggest offer as much as possible as a last resort. That's number one. And number two, acknowledge that your relationship is ending, and that's totally okay, right? And instead of asking for a purchase, you could be thinking about alternative ways of engaging with this segment of customers, whether that be asking for a referral or asking for a review, which still ultimately adds a ton of value to your business without adding incremental cost to your acquisition. Next, repeat purchasers. Speaking of reviews and referrals, repeat purchases are a great moment in a life cycle to ask for reviews, referrals, because the second purchase is a extremely strong indication of success, of client success and satisfaction. No unhappy customer is going to come back to buy from you a second time, right? It's very rare. So for those reasons, you're more often going to see positive reviews and referrals coming out of this segment of customers. So that's primary. The secondary objective at this stage is to retain your repeat purchasers as customers. These are loyal fans. So think about what can you do to take that relationship to the next level, whether it be through exclusive access, early drops, exclusive communities just for VIPs, or other forms of added value in the relationship. VIPs. Now, the next tier of your relationship with a customer would be with your VIPs, and every brand will have a slightly different definition of what a VIP means in your books, but consistently through it all, you want to be treating your VIPs differently, a lot more differently than you do a regular customer, right? Make them feel special. Make sure that your sales launches, your product launches, your new drops go out to your VIPs first, and make sure that they know that. So prime them up for these additional benefits and let them know that they are now a VIP because of the volume of purchases and business that they've done with your brand. Make sure that they know that they are part of an exclusive group, so that when the time comes for a product launch or a sales launch, your response rates are going to be much, much higher. Cross-selling, upselling is a great way to automate the process of generating more revenue per customer while adding a ton of value. And you can automate this by identifying the collections of products that are relevant to each buyer based on what they've purchased in the past, right? So remind them about the product that they've bought and the reason why they're receiving the emails in this flow. And a great example of this is Phoenix Store, right? So on the right-hand side, you'll see one of our clients, Phoenix Store, they sell handheld emergency lights, handheld torch lights that are incredibly powerful. And they also sell battery bundles. So as a part of, it's a very simple upsell to the products that they've purchased, batteries. Next up, replenishment. Now, replenishment flows are a great way to really just cover all gaps possible in your retention strategy. Aside from your repeat purchase, VIPs, first time purchase flows, you want to identify customers who have purchased once, but they're not on a subscription program and their products should have theoretically been finished. You want to get them back to buy a second time and a third time and a fourth time. This is a great time if you have a subscription program to redirect customers onto your subscription auto-ship program, because it ultimately drives higher retention, but also more savings to your customers because of the whatever subscription offer that you're offering on your site. And that wraps it up. 13 flow optimization frameworks to help you take your brand to the next level. And if you want to learn more, or if you want a consolidated resource that captures everything that we've spoken about and then some, go to the link in the description below and download our conversion checklist. And here's a checklist of over 60 items that you should pay attention to when you're building and optimizing your flows. A lot of the stuff that we've spoken about in this video is covered and then some. There's a lot more here that isn't covered in the video. So go into the link in the description below, go key in your emails and get the copy of this for your business. And if you like what you've just learned. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what else I should be producing in my content schedule. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps out the channel a lot. Thank you so much. See you in the next one.